Well, we got another 4-star main DPS. Is he any good? Maybe because he has a cool hat. Maybe because he has blonde hair. He even has a cool penguin. Maybe that will make him a good character. No, it doesn't. He's still Freminet. Today, we're going to talk about the new 4-star character, Freminet, and go over his kit a little bit, talk about what he does, and why he belongs in D tier with probably every other 4-star and Hydro Traveler. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Also, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 60,000 subscribers and we're so close to hitting it. Also, only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed, so your subscription could really help out. Anyways though, let's get into the video. Okay, today we're talking about Freminet. Now that intro was kind of depressing, but I should preface this by saying is that I'm not like directly hating on Freminet as a character. He's actually kind of cool. I liked him in the story, but today we're going to be focusing mainly on his kit and how much value he has. That being said though, you're free to like the character and you can probably play them with Bennett, Kazuha, and I don't know, some other unit and probably do some crazy damage. Does that mean he's a good character? No, you can do that with any character in the game. Running good supports is the most vital thing when pairing with bad characters, and Freminet is a perfect example of that. Let's go over what he does quickly. I brought along some shielders today because I'm not leveling up Freminet because I have a conscience and I like to level up good characters before anything. That's why Baiju's at level 50. Okay, let's go and test him out. Big robot thingy. So first, his E skill. So if we use his E ability, we're going to get this little penguin, and as you see, it has a little timer there, and every time we hit the enemy, the timer goes down. And once we hit 4, it does huge blast attack. That's essentially what that thing does. In the talent description here, they give you a big block of text, which is just really unnecessary. I could probably simplicize this into maybe a sentence or two. So essentially what it does, you put it down. When you put it down, you do physical and cryo damage at the same time. And then once the timer's up, you do big physical hit. And that's about it. That's all you needed to read. Congratulations, you just saved yourself 10 months of your life from reading all this text. This skill is actually kind of decent. I would say it's actually better than some of the other 4-star skills in the games that are try to function as main DPSs, like Ningguang's pointless shield, because it actually does 2 elemental hits at once, or I guess 1 elemental hit and 1 physical hit, which is actually a little decent. That being said, the scaling on it, yeah, it's not the best thing ever. It's very low. My other little grievance with him is just being a Claymore user. I feel like Claymore users attack really slow. He actually attacks a little faster than most Claymore users, like D-Luke and them. He attacks a slight bit faster, but that 4 pit just takes so long to get off. You go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 takes like an extra second, which is just really unoptimal. The timing on that can be improved a lot. The penguin timer taking 4 hits to go off isn't great. I would like it to take a little less. Because really the only big hit you're going to do with him is that final hit. The other hits are pretty mediocre. I do have him on a decent weapon though. The Skyward Pride actually pairs really well with him. Now, if you guys remember, I was complaining about the penguin timer. That actually helps a lot with his burst. His burst is going to decrease the skill by 70%, and then also his normal attacks are now going to deal an extra 200% damage, which is a big multiplier and makes it a lot better. If you have his burst on a good uptime, that's nice. Unfortunately, Freminet has probably the worst energy regeneration I've ever seen in the game. This little skill hits regenerates 2 energy, and that is it. If you do not pair him with some sort of support that is cryo, you are basically screwing yourself over because it will take 1.5 years to get his burst up if you do not have that. However, when you do get it up, you go into the state, and now the penguin timer only takes 2 ticks to get to the end. I should really level up my Freminet. Alright, we changed locations. The dogs were too much for my level 20 Freminet to handle. Oh, now I have to charge up his burst all the way again. Just kill a couple seals, I'm sorry. Oh wow, look how fast it's charging up. We almost got it, guys. I mean, obviously with an energy regeneration stance, it would help a lot more. Luckily, his burst cost is only 60, which is relatively low, but still, he just does not generate enough energy to run by himself. All right, let's try out his burst state, and let's go back to what I was saying before. So in his burst state, if we put it down, every time we use our E, it's only going to take 2 ticks to go off, and then also we get our E skill back up every second. We now get it every single second it goes up, which is really, really nice. The burst doesn't last for too long, but the time that it does last, it's actually a very, very big multiplier, which is really, really nice. Now, when you're out of it again, though, he feels kind of slow and a little sloppy, but that's to be expected. And that is essentially everything to go over with the main part of Freminet's kit. Some extra things, his passive talents. This passive talent is going to decrease the pressurized flow effect by 1 second. This passive is essentially just going to increase your skill damage by 40% for 5 seconds. Both just pretty decent damage multipliers. This one's going to decrease the time a little bit. This one's going to increase the damage a little bit. The last thing in his talents is probably my favorite thing in the world. It's the deep water navigation. Now, if there is one reason for you to roll for Freminet, it's this reason. Now, when you go underwater, you take less stamina, which is absolutely awesome. This is probably the only thing I remotely like about his kit. And to be honest, I'm really upset that they don't put the submarine helmet over his head when you're in the water. There you go. You got it on. Now just put it on when you're underwater. Doesn't that make sense? No, because the game doesn't make sense. Luckily, he is a Fontaine character, so you can do awesome dives, which is still pretty fun. If that's one reason you want to roll for Freminet, then you should. That being said, his character is a little, he looks like about every kid I knew in high school, but that's besides the point. We don't judge based on appearance. Unless you're the Raiden Shogun, then we might think it that way. Anyways, back to Freminet. The summary of this kit, it's decent, but it's definitely not enough to ever get you through the hardest content in the game, like Spiral Abyss. He just won't be viable in very hard meta content. That being said, if you don't care about hard meta, then you can really do whatever you want with him. He's not, like, completely unusable. He's not on the same level as Hydro Traveler of being that, like, completely utter garbage state. Out of all the 4-star DPSs in the game, which include himself, Ningguang, Heizo, Yanfei, Razor, I guess Xinyan if you want to copium it. I'd say he sits somewhere in like the bottom 3 of that group. He's not, I don't think he's better than Ningguang. Don't think he's better than Heizo. Definitely not better than Yanfei. Definitely not better than Razor. I think Razor is just inherently a better physical unit. That being said, they're both physical, and the state of physical is, yeah, dead, to say the least. I mean, I'm surprised we're still adding physical characters into the game at this point. Like the last physical character we had, Eula. I mean, people only play this character because of... yeah. So I'm surprised we're still adding physical characters to the game at this point. And that's one reason why you'll probably not see Freminet used very often, other than in like very niche situations with people who like will absolutely love his character for whatever reason. The last thing to touch on are his constellations. Should you roll for constellations for 4 stars? For some characters, I recommend it more. Like for example, Bennett. I think Bennett's constellations are important. Zhongling's constellations are important. Xingqiu's constellations are important. But we haven't got a good 4-star since like God knows how long. So recently, I do not recommend rolling for like any 4-star constellations. This character kind of fits that same description. Unless you like absolutely love him or you're a huge whale, there's no point to roll for these. This is more crit rate, about 30 extra CV, pretty decent. This one, if you don't want to use an extra cryo support on him or a Favonius user, this will be absolutely essential in that case. 3 and 5 are just scaling. This one is going to increase attack based on reactions that you trigger. Again, just another damage upgrade. And then this one is going to increase your crit damage by an upward of 36%, which is actually pretty decent. So honestly, you can get an extra like, what is that? Like 30 and then 36. So 66 extra CV from constellations actually isn't all that bad. I just think it's niche for Freminet in particular because he's Freminet. Overall, I'd probably score Freminet like maybe, I give him a 4 out of 10 on the gameplay scale. He can do a tiny bit of damage. He can do some cool things. I do like the basis of his kit. I just think it could have been better implemented. I don't like that you have to take so long to get things going. I think the energy regeneration could have been a little bit better. I think the fact that he doesn't wear a submarine hat underwater bugs me, but that's not that important. I wish the penguin timer lasted a little longer. Lots of different things I'd want for the betterment of Freminet. But all that being said, that is going to be the end of our video for today. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing or leaving a like down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.